Right now at 11, an unreasonable risk to public safety. That was the legal standard given for why Eric Menendez was denied parole. It was a 10-hour-long parole hearing. Eric Menendez grilled not only what happened in Beverly Hills 36 years ago, but what he has been doing behind bars over the last few decades. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. That decision coming in just after 6:30 tonight. His brother Lyle set to face the board tomorrow. We have live team coverage for you. NBC4's Darsha Phillips looks at the prison violations that the parole commissioner says contributed to today's decision. But we start with Robert Kovacic live in San Diego with much more on what happened today and a look ahead to tomorrow. Robert.
Carolyn, gathered here with media from around the world because, as you all know, from Hollywood to headlines, the Menendez brothers have been getting a lot of attention. Tonight, LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman congratulating the parole board for not bowing to public spectacle or pressure. Inside of the San Diego prison today, Eric Menendez looked back on the murders of his parents in Beverly Hills. I just want my family to understand that I am so unimaginably sorry for what I have put them through from August 20th, 1989 until this day and this hearing. But at the end of the 10-hour hearing, the parole commissioner didn't buy it. The truest thing you said in terms of accountability is there is no justification for your actions. Doing what you did, when you did, how you did it. There is no justification. The now 54-year-old Eric Menendez told the parole board he was terrified his father, who he claims sexually abused him, was going to kill him. The parole commissioner determined Eric Menendez was not in imminent fear of his life. The commissioner adding he understands sexual assault victims often find it hard to come forward, especially when the abusers are family members. But the commissioner said they don't often kill their abusers and wondered why did the brother's mother have to die as well, finding the execution of Kitty Menendez, quote, devoid of human compassion.
California is very, very rigorous in their standards. Not many people get out on parole on their first try. So it wasn't entirely a surprise, but it is still very, very disappointing.
Tonight, relatives reacting to the parole denial.
Disappointment about the verdict aside, I was so incredibly proud of Eric. I was so moved by the man that he's become and the growth that he has shown.
Now it's Lyle's turn.
I don't think it looks good for Lyle tonight, that Eric was turned out today.
The stepdaughter of Eric Menendez, so angered by the parole board's decision, vowing a peaceful protest here outside of the prison tomorrow, but late tonight has decided to put that on hold in order, she explains, to give the parole board the benefit of the doubt when it comes to her uncle, Lyle. The first ever parole hearing for Lyle Menendez is scheduled to begin tomorrow morning at 8:30, and Carolyn, we will be here. For now, in San Diego, I'm Robert Kovacic. Let's go back to you.
All right, Robert, thank you for that. And one of the reasons given by the parole commissioner for not granting parole has to do with Eric's behavior in prison. NBC4's Darsha Phillips is in the newsroom now with that part of the story for us. Darsha.
Yeah, Carolyn, this was the most detailed account we've heard in years from Eric Menendez of how he was raised and the choices he made both at the time of his parents' murders and the decades he spent behind bars. Parole Commissioner Robert Barton saying the primary reason for denial was not the seriousness of the crime 36 years ago, but Eric's behavior in prison. Barton saying, contrary to your supporters' beliefs, you have not been a model prisoner, and frankly, we find that a little disturbing. The commissioners focused on numerous rule violations committed by Menendez while in prison. In 1997, Eric got into a physical fight with another inmate. The following year, supplies to make Pruno or prison wine were found in his cell. Eric also admitted to using heroin in prison that year. In 2003, a cell phone and tobacco were found hidden in Eric's cell in a hollowed-out book. In 2006, Eric had excessive physical contact with his wife in the prison chapel, and in 2013, Eric was involved in a tax fraud scheme with the prison gang. Now, even though parole was denied for Eric, legal analyst Royal Oak says there is a silver lining for the youngest Menendez brother.
They said you can come back in 3 years. They could have said come back in 10 or 15 years. If he comes back a changed man, no more prison violations, and if psychiatrists say, you know, this guy has really turned it around, his chances for release would go way up.
Now, after denying his parole, Commissioner Barton told Eric he has two options: to have a pity party or to take to heart what was discussed. Live in the newsroom tonight, I'm Darsha Phillips, NBC4 News.
Darsha, thank you. We heard from LA County DA Nathan Hochman tonight. He released a statement in response to the parole board's decision. It reads in part, the board correctly determined that Eric Menendez's actions speak louder than words and that his conduct in prison and current mentality demonstrates that he still poses an unreasonable risk of danger to the community. Importantly, the board did not bow to public spectacle or pressure, a restraint that upholds the dignity and integrity of the justice system. We have much more on this case and a look ahead to tomorrow's hearing for Lyle Menendez on NBCLA.com. And at 8 tomorrow night, join us for The Case. Menendez brothers will break down both decisions and what comes next. We'll be streaming that live on our NBC Los Angeles news channel. You can find that on Roku, Peacock, Samsung TV Plus, or anywhere you stream. We're following breaking news from Canoga Park. We are learning new details on a frightening shooting and stabbing outside the Westfield Topanga Mall today. Eliana Moreno overhead for us in News Chopper 4 with those new details. Eliana.
Carolyn, and we've learned that this really could have been so much worse than it was. Now, you'll remember we told you about that shooting. It happened at around noon here at the Topanga Mall, where a woman was shot at and stabbed. She was with her child. She ran into the Cheesecake Factory to ask for help. Thankfully, she was taken to the hospital. She's going to survive. She is in stable condition. Her child wasn't hurt. And then that's when the search began for the suspect, who was found not too far away from here. And that's where things really are twisted. This man not only was carrying an AR-15 style rifle, he had plenty of ammunition to cause a lot of damage. So the LAPD is telling us tonight that they really were fortunate that this did not result in a mass shooting. That man had over 200 rounds with him. That's 13 fully loaded 40-round magazines for that AR-15, and there was no relation between him and the woman that he shot. There was no relation between him and the child. This was a completely random incident where he shot at that woman, stabbed her, and he had plenty of ammunition to do a lot more harm. But thankfully, she's going to be okay. Her child is okay, and he is now in custody. That's latest here from the Topanga Mall in News Chopper 4. I'm Eliana Moreno. Back to you in the studio.
Just incredible. Eliana, thank you. And now to the heat wave that is scorching Southern California this week. It's not just heat, but increased fire danger and the possibility for thunderstorms and lightning strikes. We want to give you a live look from our four of our cameras across the region right now. It's still warm tonight. Meteorologist Shauna Mendiola tracking the temperatures and the next chance for some relief. Shauna.
All right, Carolyn, let's take a look at those temperatures right now out the door because the sun is set. It is 11 o'clock in the evening and temperatures are still in the 80s outside in the Inland Empire, as well as some of those valley spots. Upper 70s in Van Nuys, downtown LA about 75. And at the coast, we've got some cooler temperatures, but that's it. We still have very warm conditions. And as we head to those overnight hours, I don't think we're going to cool down very much for some of us. Looking at Chino, for example, we're going to cool down to about 73 at 5 a.m. and then